Hi everyone. Hope you all are good. We are here for grade 7 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 7 math and then click on view all lessons. There you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter proportional relationships. The lessons we're going to cover today are graph proportional relationships, identify proportional relationships, find the constant of proportionality word problems, and solve problems involving proportional relationships. So please make sure you have your notebook and pencil so that you can note down the important examples and definitions as well. Here I am on grade 7 math. The chapter we're on right now is proportional relationships. Start with the lesson that is graph proportional relationships. Graph the function y equals 4x. So you can graph a function by plotting ordered pairs. Find the ordered pairs by plugging the values of x. You have the function y equals 4x, right? Let's just substitute different values of x so that we can have the values of y, right? We have an ordered pair. When we put x equals 0, y equals 0. So we have a point on the graph that is 0 and 0. Then when x equals 1, y equals 4. So the point is 1 and 4. So we have 2 points now. They are 0, 0 and 1, 4, right? So just use these 2 points 0, 0 and 1, 4 and plot a graph. Here is the value point 0, 0. Here is 1 and 4. So just make a graph. Connect them and make a graph, right? Let's just start with the test questions. Graph this function y equals 3x. So let's just make a graph, substitute different values of x so that we can have different values of y. Then let's see which is the correct option. I'm going to choose only 2 points. Y equals 3x, right? Let's just substitute x equals 0. Y equals 3 times 0. 3 times 0 is 0. So you have one pair that is 0, 0. The other one is x equals 1. So y equals 3. So when x is 1, y is 3. So we have 2 points. Let's just see which graph has these 2 points, right? Here you have 0, 0, right? And the other point is 1 is 3, 1 and 3. So when x is 1, y is 3. So this graph has these 2 points we just calculated. So that means that is the correct option. Option number 1 is the correct option. That is option number 1. Graph this function y equals 4x, right? So let's just calculate the 2 points. Then we'll see which graph is the correct one. Y equals 4x. So when x is 0, y is 0. So we have the ordered pair 0, 0. So when x equals 1, 4 times 1, 4 times 1 is 4. So when x equals 1, y equals 4. So that is 1 and 4. So we have 2 points that are 0, 0 and 0, 0. But x equals 1, y equals 4 is not the point on this graph, right? Let's just check the second one. Here is 0, 0 and x equals 1, y equals 4. Here it is, right? So that means option number 2 is the correct option. That is 0, 0, 1, 4 are the points on this graph. So the second one is the correct option. Got it? Y equals graph this function y equals 5x. So which is the correct option? Let's just calculate 2 points and then see which graph is the correct option. The equation is y equals 5x. So when x is 0, y is also 0. So the first pair is 0, 0. The second one is y equals 5 times 1. 5 times 1 is 5. So when x equals 1, y equals 5, right? So we have 2.00 and 1, 5. Here is the point 0, 0, 0, 0 and 1, 5. Option number 1 is the correct option. Got it? The correct option is option number 1. Y equals 2x. So let's just calculate the 2 points and then see which is the correct option. Y equals 2x, right? Then you have the ordered pair 0, 0. And when x is 1, y is 2. Here you have 0, 0 and here you have 1, 2, right? That means option number 1 is the correct option. So y equals 3x, which is the correct option? No, option number 2 is the correct option, 0, 0. And when x equals 2, y equals 6 is the correct option. So that is the second graph, right? Okay, you can complete them by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is identify proportional relationships. Select the graph that shows a proportional relationship between x and y. So you are given two graphs, right? Here is the first one. Here is the first one. And here is the second one, right? Option number 2 is the correct option, right? Why? The graphs of the proportional relationships, two variables relationship if the ratio of one variable to the other is constant. The graph of a proportional relationship between x and y is a straight line passing through the origin 0, 0, right? To determine whether a graph shows a proportional relationship between x and y, see if it is a straight line passing through the origin. So that is the important thing. It must be a straight line and passing through the origin. That means that is the graph of the proportional relationship. Got it? Let's just start with the test questions. Select the graph that shows a proportional relationship between x and y. So you are given two of the graphs, which is the correct option. So the correct option is the second one. That's a straight line passing through the origin. So option number 2 is the correct option. Got it? Select the graph that shows a proportional relationship between x and y. So which is the correct option? We have two graphs given over here. So which is the correct option? The correct option is you are given three options. Too confusing, and they all are the straight starting from options, so the options are too confusing, isn't it? But why it is wrong? That's a straight line passing through the origin. Select the graph that shows a proportional relationship between x and y. So, which is the correct option? The correct option is option number two. That's a straight line passing through the origin. Option number two is the correct option. Select the graph that shows a relationship between x and y. The correct option is two confusing options. Let's just move on to next lesson, right? The next lesson is find the constant of proportionality word problems. So basically the constant of proportionality means you need to calculate the slope, right? Let's just start with the practice questions. Brain ran a total of 6 miles over the course of two track practices. Then later in the season, he ran 9 miles over the course of three track practices. How many miles does Brain run per track practice? The constant of proportionality means the constant ratio, right? You need to calculate the constant of variation, that means the rate. So you have to divide y by x, right? You have to do 6 over 2, that is 3. You have to do 9 over 3, that is 3. So that means the constant of variation is 3, that is 3 miles. Let's just start with the test questions. May grew two plants with two seed packets. Then later in the season, she grew four plants with four seed packets. How many plants can May grew with one seed packet? So that means he can grow two plants, X is plants, two plants, Y is two seed packets, right? And then four plants with four seed packet. You have to calculate Y by X. That is the constant of variation. So that is one. So that means how many plants can May grow with one seed packet? So with one seed packet, he can grow only one plant, right? The correct option is option number one. So the correct option is one plant. Let's just move on to next lesson. Kate's Auto Wash had revenues of $12 from two customers. At another point, the Auto Wash earned $18 in revenue from three customers. How much revenue does Kate's Auto Wash have per customer? So you have to calculate the cost per customer, right? So let's just see. Here you have X is two customers and the revenue is $12, right? And then you have three customers, the revenue is $18. So you have to calculate Y by X, that is 12 over 2 and 18 over 3. So which is the correct option? So the cost per customer is the correct option is $6. Option number one is the correct option. Got it? So that means the cost per customer is $6. Kira's retirement party will cost $6 if she invites three guests. If she invites eight guests with it will cost $16. What is the cost per guest? So which is the correct option? So the correct option is that is $2. So that means the cost per guest is $2. Very good. Option number two is the correct option. The next one is Malia wrote a total of 8 papers over 2 hours. A few days later, she wrote 12 pages over the course of 3 hours. How many pages does Malia write per hour? Which is the correct option? The correct option is option number one is the correct option. Very good. That is 4 pages. So the correct option is option number one. 4 pages it is. Owen used 9 centimeters of tape to wrap 3 presents. Then he used an additional 15 centimeter of tape to wrap another 5 presents. How many centimeter of tape does Owen use to wrap each present? So which is the correct option? The correct option is the correct option is option number one, that is 3 centimeters. Option number one is the correct option. Very good. Pablo jarred 12 liters of jam after 3 days. Then he jarred an additional 16 liters of jam after another 4 days of jam making. How many liters of jam does Pablo jar each day? Which is the correct option? The correct option is 4 liters. Very good. Option number two is the correct option. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is solve problem involving proportional relationships. Now let's just start with the test question, right? You can have a look on the tutorial by yourself later today. This equation shows How the time required to screen print a batch of shirts is related to the number of shirts in the batch. T equals 2s. The variable s represents the number of shirts in the batch and the variable t represents the time required to screen print the shirts. How long does it take to screen print a batch of 5 shirts? You need to use the equation, right? The equation is t equals 2s, right? T is the time and s is the S is the number of shirts in the batch. So the question is, how long does it take to screen print a batch of 5 shirts? So that means you are given S equals 5, replace X equals 5 in the equation. So the correct option is T equals 10. So the correct option is 10 minutes, right? The correct option is option number 2 is the correct option, that is 10. Option number 2 is the correct option. This equation shows how the total number of necklaces Ballet owns is related to the amount of money she spent on the additional necklaces. N equals D. The variable D represents the amount of money she spends on additional necklaces, and the variable N represents the total number of necklaces she owns. With $6 to spend on new necklaces, how many total necklaces can Ballet own? So, which is the correct option? You are given N equals D, right? You are given the D equals 6. So then N equals, that is 6 necklaces. Option number 2 is the correct option. This equation shows how a sapling's height depends on its age. Age equals 3a. The variable a represents the age of the sapling in years, and the variable age represents the height of the sapling in inches. How tall was the sapling when it was 5 years old? So, which is the correct option? The correct option is h equals 3a. You are given a equals 5. So, which is the correct option? 5 times 3 equals. That is 15 inches. Option number 1 is the correct option. This equation shows how the total number of postcards Kira buys is related to the number of days she spent on vacation. P equals 3D. The variable D represents the number of days she spent on vacation, and variable P represents the total of postcards she buy. After 6 days of vacation, how many total postcards will Kira have bought? So, which is the correct option? The correct option is 3 times. Very good. That is 18th. Because you have 6 days, you need to calculate the postcards. 6 times 3 is 18. This equation shows how the amount Jennifer earns from dog walking depends on the number of hours she works. D equals 13H. The variable H represents the number of hours spent walking dogs, and the variable D represents the amount of money earned after a total of 1 hour of walking dog. How much money will Jennifer have earned? The correct option is 13 times 1 is 13. 3? No, 13 H. You are given H equals 1. So 13 times 1 is 13. That is $13. Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. So we were working on grade 7 math. Chapter we were working on is proportional relationships. The lessons we have covered today are graph proportional relationships, identify proportional relationships, find the constant of proportionality word problems, solve problems involving proportional relationships. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we just did. That is your homework until next session. So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can simply click on the live chat button. Tutors are available there to help you, or either you can write down the questions in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. So any questions you can please ask. I'm here to answer and confusions if you have. No questions? Okay, then that's all for today. See you in the next session. Bye, everyone.